What is going on, YouTube? Working on another custom today, and today I'm working on another Ford Torino Talladega. This will be the last Talladega that I do in this series. These are just some really cool cars, and once they get all NASCAR'd out, they look fantastic. So I've come to really like working on these things and customizing them, and I gotta give props to Nick Devers for sending some of these over. He didn't send this one over. I actually picked this one up not too long ago at Target. So this was brand new out of the package. But thank you, Nick, for getting the Fords involved in this. I appreciate it. I've already gone and drilled out the posts, and I'm using 2x56 button head screws. You can find these on Amazon. And I believe I got these, I think it was $8 for a pack of 100. So you can do 50 cars in theory. So let's take this all apart. See what we're working with here. I actually really like the wheels that are on here. So I think I'll just leave them alone. Depends on how the paint job goes and if they look good with it. Otherwise, I might have to do a wheel swap, but we'll see. So there it is. Gotta love these brand new cars. They're all in great shape, especially out of the package. I do love this red paint that's on there. I think I got something cool in store for it that I think you guys will like. So instead of removing the paint, I just want to remove these tampos. So I'm using the old Sharpie trick and taking all these tampos off. I want to save the red, at least the red that's on the roof and everything, and paint the rest of the car. And to do that, I had to take these tampos off. I thought about just priming it and painting over it and painting over the tampos, but I think you would still be able to see them through the paint, at least the different levels of it. So I got to get these tampos off here and then tape it up and paint it. I've used this Sharpie trick a couple times and it works fantastic. I hear, though, that rubbing alcohol will do the same thing. Unfortunately, I didn't have any, so I just went with the Sharpie because I know it works, and it worked really well in this case, too. And as you can see here, you would never have known that there was any flames or tempo on there at all. I'm very happy with the way that came out. I taped off the roof, and then I went over the car with some Krylon white primer. And then I went over it with some Krylon Cover Max Satin Bright White. The paint scheme I'm going with was ran in NASCAR in 1967 by the man, the myth, the legend, Cale Yarborough. According to Ranker.com, Cale Yarborough is the 5th greatest driver in NASCAR history, and rightfully so. Yarborough started driving in NASCAR in the 60s, and in 1963 he earned his first full-time ride driving for the number 19 Ford of Herman Beam. And little did they know how special Cale Yarborough would actually be. He is one of only 2 drivers in NASCAR history to win 3 consecutive championships. He was the 2nd NASCAR driver to appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and his 83 wins tie him with Jimmy Johnson for 6 on the all-time Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series winners list. Just behind Bobby Allison and Darrell Waltrip. His 14.82% winning percentage is the 9th best of all time and 3rd among those with 500 or more starts. Yarborough won the Daytona 500 4 times, his first win coming in 1968 for the Wood brothers, second in 1977 for Junior Johnson, and back-to-back wins in 1983 and 1984 for Rainer Lundy Racing. Yarborough is a 3-time winner of the National Motorsports Press Association Driver of the Year Award from 1977, 78, and 79. There are some fantastic stories about Cale Yarborough and his NASCAR racing career. I'll talk about the fight in a little bit, but in 1968 was a huge year for Cale Yarborough. Not only did he pick up 6 wins during the season, but Ford produced a Cale Yarborough Special Edition Mercury Cyclone Spoiler 2 which was a very limited edition. It wasn't very popular at the time, but now if you're looking to pick one up, expect to pay over $100,000 for it. All right, I think it's about that time to get this Cale Yarborough Talladega all put back together. So I didn't do anything with the interior. I think the black interior is going to be just fine for what I want. And I didn't do any wheel swaps or anything because I actually like these wheels a lot. And I think they're going to look pretty cool on this car. So let's hope they look pretty cool anyway. And as usual, I'm using my 2x56 button head screws to screw it all back together. This is going to be the last Ford in this series. I only have 3 more cars left after this one, and the series is complete. Finally. And then I'll let you guys know where all these cars are getting shipped off to. But time for the moment of truth. Let's see how this all turned out. Oh man, check that out. Very, very cool. I must say this is actually probably one of my top 5 of this series. It turned out a lot better than I thought it would. And this red is just part of the original color that was on the car. I didn't add any red to it. Just taped it off and painted around it, and it actually turned out really nice. The red was the perfect shade I wanted, and I think it works really well with what I'm going here. And I must say, these decals from RWNE FF1 over on eBay are amazing. He did a fantastic job. These gold leaf decal numbers are insane. Really good job on these decals. So there you go. Let's go take a little closer look. Cale Yarborough is one of the early pioneers of modern NASCAR racing, and any Google search will get you to the 1979 Daytona 500, where Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison were battling for the lead on the final lap of the race when the two collided into the turn 3 wall, and both of their cars went into the infield as Richard Petty held on to go get his 6th Daytona 500 win. As Petty started to celebrate his win, a fight broke out between Yarborough and Allison. As Donnie Allison and Cale Yarborough started fighting, Donnie's brother Bobby Allison rolled up and joined his brother for the fight. And the Yarborough versus the Allison brothers scrap was caught on camera as viewers from all across the country witnessed the brawl. Both Allison and Yarborough blamed each other for the last lap fight, and both NASCAR drivers ended up getting fined. It was one of the first major events that garnered nationwide attention for NASCAR. The story of the fight made the front page of the New York Times, and it's still considered one of the most important races in the history of the sport. Old school racing fans consider it to be among the greatest races of all time. And given what was at stake with so many people watching, it's hard to argue otherwise. So there you go, a little Cale Yarborough Torino Talladega. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we will see you on the next one.